iCarly, Jennette's nightmare, Miranda's legacy. I don't know what he's talking about, but I'm assuming it's something to do with that. And I kind of want to be nosy.
On the set of the most popular live-action show in Nickelodeon history, iCarly, Miranda Cosgrove and Jennette McCurdy appeared to be great friends, and they were. However, Jennette was suffering, and nobody knew about it. Jennette was forced into acting by an abusive mother who did things you would not wish on your worst enemy, but she couldn't escape because on set she was being manipulated by a powerful Nickelodeon showrunner.
Damn.
Stop laughing at the director. Show some respect, Jennette. Respect. No smiling. All right. Take $100 off her check.
Miranda, on the other hand, was raised in a loving home with parents.
Did anyone really do that shit for real? Take $100 off her check because she won't stop smiling? Okay. Nah, he definitely weird.
Who worked hard to keep her emotionally secure. Without realizing it, Miranda became a part of a story far more tragic than she could have imagined, and the choices she made would change Jennette's life forever. This is the dark side of iCarly, how one young girl thrived while the other barely survived. Jennette's life started out as nothing short of hell on earth. Born in Southern California to a poor Mormon family, Jennette grew up witnessing her mom, Deborah McCurdy, battle stage 4 breast cancer. After learning about her diagnosis, Deborah became a hoarder, attaching meaning and significance to even the tiniest objects. Their home quickly became suffocated by overwhelming piles of random stuff.
Damn.
It got so bad that Jennette and her brothers could no longer sleep in their—
Bro, I don't know if y'all ever seen like the show off like TLC called Hoarders. When it comes to like cleaning those type of houses, they be cleaning them houses for days. Like it be like a whole week plan on them cleaning the house, or a whole month plan.
Their own bedrooms and had to resort to gymnastic mats laid on the floor in the living room. It really did not feel like a home. It felt like a place of chaos and of turmoil and turbulence. Jennette's mother always dreamed of being an actor, so she projected her own unattainable aspirations onto her daughter. And despite her daughter being a shy and uncomfortable performer, she was clearly a promising young talent, making guest appearances on Mad TV, CSI, Malcolm in the Middle, and Law & Order. Deborah's need for control went beyond strict parenting and managing her daughter's acting career. It was an all-consuming obsession that dictated every facet of Jennette's existence. She would shower Jennette for her until she was
His grandma was a hoarder. It took a week to clean like 4 of my cousins and still not all the way done. My aunt, she was like that. Like her house was like hoarderish, and like, you know, I remember when like some of my family cleaned her house, it took them like a couple weeks to do this. You know, they like remade it and shit. It got back to the same exact way because, you know, it's like when people have habits, they're gonna keep doing the same thing. They're not gonna just become a new person like the next day just because you clean everything. They just fall back into the same thing and it gets hoarded again.
11, oftentimes putting Jennette and her 16-year-old brother in the shower together. She shaved her legs for her and performed routine breast and vaginal exams on Jennette to check her for cancer. Her mom even taught her how to restrict her calories in an attempt to delay puberty and appear younger to land more jobs, essentially encouraging Jennette to become anorexic.
So I asked if there was a way that I could stop the boobies from coming in, and she told me, well, there's a thing called calorie restriction.
Wow.
And it became our sort of secret and our code and something that...
one thing about Willow is that girl gonna say, wow. Wow. I feel like she a really good listener though. I feel like she really be listening. Like even though she be saying, wow, yeah, I feel like she really be listening though.
As disturbing as it is, really bonded us.
Right.
It was our thing.
Yep.
No one else got this thing. We got this thing. I can look at you from across the room and know you got me and I got you. And we were just in the disease, in the sickness, but there was a connection that the sickness created.
She's at a loss for words. Girl Jada, yep. That's them 2 favorite words. Wow. And yup.
That I, of course, couldn't see at the time.
Her favorite foods soon became sugar-free popsicles, applesauce, and
Granny's like, right. Willow's like, wow. And Jada's like, yeah.
unsweetened iced tea, and her dinners often consisted of iceberg lettuce with dressing spray and ripped up pieces of low-calorie bologna. This also made for a confusing dynamic as Jennette's character on iCarly was obsessed with food, constantly indulging in binge eating, which to her almost felt like a mockery of her real life. But again, nobody knew what Jennette's mother was doing to her. Not only was she a malnourished child, but she also dealt with the same stresses of adult actors on set.
That's a good question. I remember I would cry on several occasions when it just felt like it really got to be too much, and I'd tell my mom, I don't want to do this anymore, but she would either say like, Net, you don't mean that, or she'd say, well, we need this. So there were kind of two different arguments that she would hit me back with, and then I'd feel guilty. And, you know, would keep doing it.
That's why she probably did that shit, to like manipulate her child. Like, that's kind of crazy. Hearing that she wrote a book saying something about she's glad her mom died or something like that, and I'm pretty sure by the end of this we're gonna kind of understand why.
Is why when she landed the role of Sam Pucket on iCarly at age 14, she thought it would be a breakthrough moment. Everything's going to be better. Mom will finally be happy. Her dream has come true. Unfortunately, iCarly was not going to be the saving grace that Jennette had hoped for. But the one bright spot was the close friendship she formed with her co-star, Miranda Cosgrove.
Aww.
Unlike Jennette, Miranda's parents never intended to force their child into the entertainment industry. An agent discovered Cosgrove at a Los Angeles food festival with her parents. Her mother, Chris, inspected the business card but remained hesitant to
she was a really cute baby.
Put her child in front of the camera. So they started off slow, first getting her appearances in Burger King commercials and then occasionally auditioning for theater and television roles.
I remember this. I remember this era. I remember more specifically because she was on, if I'm not mistaken, she was on Drake and Josh during this era. This is the Miranda I remember. The Megan. This who I remember. Megan. I don't know about Megan. Wasn't her name Megan on the show? It was Megan, I think. The little sister. Yeah, in School of Rock. This the one I remember.
However, Miranda's life drastically changed after securing her film debut in the comedy School of Rock. The film stars Jack Black as Dewey Finn, a down-on-his-luck musician who poses as a substitute teacher at a prestigious prep school. He then discovers his students are musically talented and secretly turns them into a rock band to compete in the Battle of the Bands. Cosgrove plays the role of Summer Hathaway, the hilariously uptight and naive band manager.
What's the matter?
You want me to be a groupie?
Well, groupie's an important job.
I research groupies on the internet. They're sluts. They sleep with a band.
School of Rock was unanimously loved by fans and critics, grossing over 131.
That movie was a good ass movie, bro. Like, I feel like to this day, like, me watching it back as an adult, it will still be a good ass movie. Like, that movie's a good one, bro. That movie's a good one.
$1 million at the worldwide box office. Miranda performed the role of a bossy yet charmingly smug child so well that it made her the obvious choice for the role of Megan Parker in the legendary Nickelodeon teen sitcom Drake and Josh. But Miranda didn't even understand how massive this opportunity was. When I really understood I was acting, since I did it from the time I was so little, I never thought of it as a job, and I didn't realize that everybody didn't do it. Miranda was so innocent, not even knowing she was working, compared to Jennette, who became painfully aware of her reality as her mother taught her how to starve herself to secure more acting roles to pay the bills. It's shocking to learn of Miranda's innocence, considering her character on Drake and Josh was borderline evil. Drake and Josh aired on Nickelodeon from 2004 to 2007 and follows two teenage boys who become stepbrothers after their parents get married. The two boys could not be more opposite. However, they would bond in fear of their cunning and mischievous little sister, Megan. Megan takes great pleasure in tormenting her older brothers.
What makes you think that I would have the baby?
Because you're a devious, twisted little girl.
Why, thank you, Drake.
While she appears sweet and innocent to adults, she is secretly always plotting elaborate schemes to outsmart Drake and Josh.
She basically, like, I don't know, like, what would be the equivalent, like a cartoon? I was gonna say like the sister from Phineas and Ferb, but I feel like that's not the same. That sister, she was just snitching, but she was like actually like evil, like she was fucking with them.
No way. You just hustled me.
No, I didn't. I just pretended to be bad so that you'd bet me, and then I stopped being bad and I took your money.
That's hustling.
There's a word for it?
Facts.
Cool.
Megan Parker versus Carly Shay, two different people.
Miranda's devious charm helped solidify Drake and Josh as the most beloved and
which is crazy because like she's so sweet and bubbly, like as like it seemed like she just like a sweet bubbly person, but like those two roles she played like a mean person really really well, kind of the same way like I feel like Zendaya is like a nice person but she played a drug addict really well.
Influential live-action sitcom on Nickelodeon at the time, drawing in millions of viewers per episode, peaking at 5.8 million viewers for its highest rated special. Miranda's parents were wary of the impact that fame could have on their daughter, so they did everything they could to maintain a normal lifestyle, such as choosing to still live in the house where Miranda was born and her father continuing to work every day at his dry cleaning business. Her parents also tried to keep Miranda in public school.
In elementary school, I just remember thinking, wow, I'm popular all of a sudden. I don't think I was thinking about it too much. And I remember like the kid that I had a crush on who didn't know I existed all of a sudden talked to me. Like I think I just thought things were coming up roses.
However, by the time she reached 6th grade, her acting schedule clashed with her education, and Miranda needed to make a huge decision. It took a lot for my mom to give in. I remember her asking, "Are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to stay in acting?" And also noticed that 10 and 11-year-old Miranda Cosgrove actually had a choice, something that most other child actors don't have. She ultimately chose to pursue—
That's so crazy how they literally just opposites. Their entire life was just the opposite. But it started with the parents. Sometimes like just having bad parents or they not really doing the best thing can really change a whole person's life. Like their lives is totally different, total opposite. Do you really want to keep acting? It's okay, you don't have to. Now you gotta kind of keep acting. We need that shit for money. Like, it's just two different things. That's crazy. Would have never known, too.
To acting and leave a normal life behind. Miranda immediately transitioned to private schooling on set with Drake and Josh.
I remember when I was doing schooling, at first you guys were with me. And then within 6 months, you both were no longer. I don't remember if it was because you graduated or if it was because... No. God, I kept saying to my mom, "Where did Drake and Josh go?"
Kevin, the teacher, you remember Kevin?
Oh, Kevin Mall, I remember him, yes.
Kevin Mall.
He used to make me raise my hand. I was the only one when you guys left in the classroom.
They made you raise your hand and you were the only one in the classroom?
Yes, he said he was preparing me if I ever had to go back to regular school.
Most child actors in Miranda's position, like Jennette, feel extremely isolated, missing out on normal childhood experiences while they spend long hours on set under the intense pressure to perform. Their social circles are typically limited to co-stars, adults, and industry professionals, which never gives them a break from essentially this made-up fantasy world they live in. But Miranda's parents made key decisions that set her on a much different path than Jennette. The California Labor Code, Section 1308.5, requires that a parent or legal guardian be present at all times when a minor is working in the entertainment industry. Since Miranda's mom was always hovering around her on set, she kept her in check. In one instance, Miranda unintentionally ignored someone leaving her dressing room, and her mother made sure she acknowledged their presence and said goodbye. "Miranda," Chris said sharply, "someone said goodbye to you." Cosgrove stopped short and turned around. "Oh, I'm so sorry," she said earnestly. "Goodbye. It was nice to meet you." It may seem—
It's crazy though, cause like that was like kind of normal, I would say, for like me growing up. I don't know if y'all ever went through this, but like when we had people coming over, like family coming over, they'll be like, "Make sure you come out your room and speak. You gotta always speak. Like it's proper to speak." Or like if you don't say like "yes ma'am," or you know what I'm saying, like they'll correct you, like shit like that. Like I feel like that's like shit that everybody kind of went through though.
Seems small, but enforcing normal social rules and instilling discipline into a child who could have easily turned into a diva is likely what helped Miranda become so normal.
I actually do cuss a little.
Do you?
Also, yeah.
What's your favorite curse word?
Probably
Drake and Josh ended when Miranda was just 14 years old. With plenty of years ahead of her and obvious star power as a child actor, Nickelodeon had no choice but to build a new show around Miranda. That show would bring together two young girls who were living drastically different lives behind the scenes. Dan Schneider, who was the head producer, writer, and creator at Nickelodeon, originally planned to create a show where Miranda plays a normal girl who gets cast to star in her favorite TV show called Starstruck. However, he would ultimately scrap the idea and begin the development for iCarly, a show about a group of teenagers running their own online web show, long before YouTubers and social media influencers became household.
Every time I see Dan's face, it's just, like I just shrivel up. Literally, bro, because this is... Like, no one has anything good to say about him. And it's like, the more and more time goes on, the more footage comes out that he was just so weird. From Victoria's sets, iCarly sets, like any set that he was on that he directed, he just did weird shit.
Games.
We're gonna make spaghetti tacos! A dish invented by my brother Spencer, whose real name is Letitia McPeanuts.
iCarly was way ahead of its time because it predicted the rise of online entertainment and showed how young people could build an audience outside of traditional media platforms. iCarly also had a real website where they asked fans to submit content and participate.
Bro, I remember actually going on this website, but I ain't really do nothing. I just looked around. I wonder if it still exists. Hold on, let me see. You type in iCarly.com, it takes you to Nick. It takes you to Nickelodeon. I don't know what the fuck this is. Only thing that seems familiar to me is SpongeBob. I remember there was like a whole section for it. They had games for every single show that they had on their network.
In challenges. The show's humor, quirky characters, and fast-paced storytelling feels like you are watching a kids-oriented YouTube channel or a Twitch show, except with an unreasonable amount of foot jokes.
Yeah, that's weird.
And this week we found the biggest weirdo yet. There he is, peeling a banana while he waits for the bus. Now, you think he's gonna eat the banana, right? Well, think again! Yep, there he goes. Doing the peel. What a freak. And that's why the new champion of Who's That Weirdo in My Neighborhood is... Crazy Fruit Dude!
Miranda portrayed a character that was similar to her real-life personality. Sweet, wholesome, and silly. Jennette's character, Sam, almost hit a little too close to home. Sam Pucket was known for her tough, no-nonsense attitude, sarcastic humor, and rebellious spirit.
I got kicked out of the cafeteria for slapping Gibby with a piece of pizza.
Why did you slap Gibby with a piece of pizza?
I found it on the floor. I wasn't gonna eat it.
However, the writers included a darker side to Sam, making her one of the most complex characters on the show. She can definitely be seen as problematic and borderline toxic at times, frequently resorting to physical violence, which could make her seem like a straight-up bully.
I don't see a car.
I'm not gonna lie though, like no one, I feel like anybody who was really watching that show didn't look at Sam like just mean ass bitch. At least I didn't. I looked at her as like, okay, she just don't take no damn shit. Just don't fuck with Sam. I never looked at her as like she was just some evil like character. I thought she was funny.
Here is a lot of prattle.
In fact, she had her own girl back.
She can also be manipulative, pressuring Carly into decisions that could get her friend in trouble. But looking beneath that layer, you can also see Sam as a victim of self-destructive behavior, especially considering her on-screen relationship with her mom, which again, I should remind you that nobody knew her struggles with her real mother. Her iCarly mom, Pam, was irresponsible and often absent. Sam was constantly locked out of her house, finding her own food, and was clearly lacking guidance, which may have forced Sam to develop a tough exterior.
I mean, there was moments where I feel like she would like try to make Carly do the bad thing. It was moments like that, for sure. I remember them. I don't think that was the entire essence of her character.
Mom?
I know who I am.
I love you. Mother.
What, you think I don't love you?
You never say it.
Well, it's not easy to say I love you to a daughter who thinks I'm, scummy.
I don't think you're scummy. All the time.
Do you think that y'all didn't think it was being shady? That's weird though. If they was really being shady, they did that shit on purpose. Because they did say like he had a different show that he was gonna do, but he scrapped that and made another one.
iCarly is considered by many to be the greatest Nickelodeon live-action show in history, and the numbers would agree. The series averaged over 6 million viewers at its peak, and the most watched episode, I Saved Your Life, aired to 11.2 million viewers, which is the second most viewed telecast in Nickelodeon history. You would think Miranda and Jennette were on top of the world, but a decade later, we would find out the horrors going on behind the scenes.
Cause like, why the was he in his arms like that to take this damn picture?
In Jennette's memoir that was released in 2022, she describes the grim experience working with the creator, which many have interpreted to be Dan Schneider. McCurdy wrote that the creator was mean-spirited, controlling, and terrifying, firing children over basic mistakes and making grown men and women cry with his insults and degradation. You can see a glimpse of this alleged behavior as Dan often walked around the set with his own personal camera, filming behind-the-scenes content to share on his personal blog, danwarp.com.
Stop laughing at the director. Show some respect, Jennette. Respect. No smiling. All right. Take $100 off her check.
Although it seems like he is just joking, knowing what Jennette was feeling inside drastically changes the perspective of a clip like this. Jennette also made major accusations that Schneider supplied minors with alcohol, quoting him as saying, "The Victorious kids get drunk together all the time. The iCarly kids are so wholesome. We need to give you guys a little edge."
What? Why would you need to give kids an edge? For a kid's show.
This allegation may have been corroborated by the actor who portrayed Beck on Victorious, who posted a TikTok that read, "When you don't remember the plotline to a single Victorious episode, but you remember going out partying every night." Jennette even claimed that Dan would provide unsolicited
trying to turn kids up, that's what I'm saying.
Or demand others to give him massages, to which Dan admitted to.
Let's talk about the massages.
Okay.
Watching the content yesterday, it was disturbing.
It was wrong. It was wrong that I ever put anybody in that position. It was the wrong thing to do. I'd never do it today. I'm embarrassed that I did it then. I apologize to anybody that I ever put in that situation. And even additionally, I apologize to the people who were walking around Video Village or wherever they happened, because there were lots of people there who witnessed it who also may have felt uncomfortable. So I owe them an apology as well.
Looking back on some of the behind-the-scenes content with new context, many perceive Dan to be too handsy and touchy. Look at how Miranda steps away from Dan and he proceeds to make his way around her back and hugs her from behind as she seemingly freezes up. However, still to this day, Miranda has never spoken out against Dan Schneider, so we don't know if she truly had any traumatic experiences working under him. However, we do know that iCarly
was obviously uncomfortable though, because I mean, people who like people, they don't move away from them, you know, and just kind of stand there.
The foundation of Miranda and Jennette's friendship, even though Jennette's mother tried everything she could to prevent it. Jennette writes, "On set, Miranda said cuss words like shit and ass, and she took the Lord's name in vain at least 50 times a day. Mom warned me not to get too close to Miranda because she doesn't believe in God." Jennette explained how her mother skewed her view of female friendships and she would cast them in a negative light.
My mom was always saying, men will never really know you and they'll hurt you, but women will know you deeply and then they'll hurt you. You tell me which is worse.
As a result, Jennette was cautious around other girls, but by now she was a teenager, and even her mother's manipulative tactics couldn't prevent her from getting close with Miranda. Miranda and I spent hours talking every day. Even though in person Miranda seemed shy and quiet, she had a distinct and hilarious personality through her written words. So many of the things she said made me laugh. Her way of observing things, people, habits, human nature. I loved her, and I was so excited we were becoming friends. Jennette kept the dark reality of her home life a secret. She hid it from Miranda and from everyone. So the fact that her and Miranda truly became friends eliminated the idea that it could have been out of pity. It was genuine.
My best friend is Jennette McCurdy, who was on iCarly with me, and we live really close to each other, and we have sleepovers all the time, and like I literally see her like every other day.
I'm very grateful for that friendship. It did provide me a lot of comfort in those really challenging years. My relationship with Miranda was hugely healing to my concept of women.
Jennette's time spent with Miranda provided some much-needed relief from her chaotic personal life. Sadly, it was only temporary, as their journeys were about to go in very different directions after the end of iCarly.
The atmosphere literally couldn't be better. It's like one huge family. We all get along great. I can't think of any group of people that I'd rather get to see every day. And even though I'll see them all the time, knowing that I won't see everybody every day anymore is awful.
At the height of her fame, Miranda earned $180,000 per episode of iCarly, and she was going to use that money to fund her next venture. Jennette, on the other hand, doesn't know what happened to the money.
Did you get to keep this money, or did all that? I'm curious about like the dynamic of how that worked.
Well, there's a thing called the Coogan account that actually takes, or is supposed to take 15% of your money off the top and kind of put it into the child's account so that they can have at least 15% of their money by the time they're 18, and the rest of the money is kind of up for grabs. Got these papers that were saying that like the Coogan account information was never properly filed. I got that in my 20s, so that was kind of a little bit of a shock because I really have no idea kind of what was happening, and you know, my mom was in control of everything. So I don't think I ever saw the Coogan account money.
Additionally, Miranda released chart-topping music.
That's so up though. Like, imagine your mom make you go through all that basically to pay the bills and you get nothing from it besides like just to be on TV, I guess. And she made you work. She ain't work, she made you work. I mean, I don't know. That's what it seemed like. It seemed like the mom used her child as a way to like make money and stressed her out for literally no reason. Because I mean, what did she gain from it?
Perform concerts nationwide.
Besides maybe some like fame.
And received several major brand deals. Cosgrove got to reap all of the benefits of being a child star, seemingly without being exposed to the horrors that come with it. And that's largely due to her parents refusing to fall victim to the complexities of raising a famous kid. After iCarly ended its 6th season, Miranda decided not to pursue a full-time Hollywood career. Instead of securing more mature roles and trying to prove herself in the industry, she decided to use her acting money to pay for college.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm probably gonna still be living with my parents for a while because I want to go to USC really bad. So,
Oh, you do?
Yeah, and it's not far from where I live.
Okay. And why do you want to go to college? You're already very wealthy, and I see no reason to get an education. It's just how I look at it.
My dad went to USC, so he wants me to go there really bad.
Did your dad have a hit show on Nickelodeon when he was a kid?
No.
No?
No, he's not drinking.
And what do you want to study when you go there?
I'm not sure. I was thinking film. That's what I'm really
all
interested
right.
in.
Okay. Well, it all fits in the whole
Yeah, they
deal.
have a good film
Yeah, I think he's joking. He's not serious.
department too.
Miranda did end up attending the University of Southern California, where she switched majors several times before landing on psychology. She even admitted—
That's her. I think she was on Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah, like that's like a talk show if I'm not mistaken. Like it's a pretty famous talk show. I don't know when it started though. Like low key.
that her fame helped her make new friends on campus, but her fame also made her a target, as she had multiple stalkers who got dangerously close to her. A crazy fan named Joshua Stockton allegedly started tracking Cosgrove's every move using clues from social media posts. According to TMZ, he reportedly went to her campus at USC to see her. He also sent Miranda gifts and later got upset because the packages returned unopened. He also tweeted a photo of his bandaged wrist with the caption, "Frankly, I'm tired of love, and my heart is ready to give out. Maybe I'll finish the job I started." She was granted a restraining order against the crazy fan, but then 1 year later, he violated it as he followed her on a trip to Disneyland. Joshua Stockton was given 3 years probation and will be required to complete a 1-year treatment program, including extensive psychiatric counseling. As if this wasn't scary enough, Miranda had a close call with another stalker who nearly took her life.
We saw some movie, and then afterwards it was raining, and it never hardly ever rains in LA. So I was kind of like, I don't want to go back to my place, even though my place is pretty close to Arclight. Anyway, I went to my parents' house, and then I got a call at 3 in the morning that somebody had died at my house, and it was the weirdest thing ever because they had caution tape up, and it was right in my front yard. And basically, I guess a guy came, and he was burying things in my backyard for 3 days. He buried a lunchbox with a milk chocolate inside of it in my backyard, and then he buried knives and a rope and a bunch of random stuff. I found out later that all that stuff was there, and that he had been pacing in my backyard with a gun. He also looked crazy, he was wearing this long trench coat. But yeah, he was just pacing in my backyard, I guess. And because I have security cameras, so later when we looked, we figured out he was back there for 6 hours or something, waiting. And then somebody drove up that had a similar car, that kind of looked like my car, and I guess he got confused and he thought that maybe it was me driving up. It's just bad luck. And he shot at this person 6 times, and he missed because she was in a car. She drove away, and then he set himself on fire and he shot himself.
What the fuck?
Simultaneously. And then later, so I got a call at 3 or 4 in the morning. This happened probably at 1 in the morning. I got a call at 3 or 4 in the morning saying where are you? Can you come to...
And that's the day I moved. Oh, she's saying it real calm too. Yeah, they just did this, and apparently just went crazy and just shot herself in my backyard. I am not living there no more.
To your house because someone themselves there, and they were trying to just put it all together, and they still haven't really put it all together, why it happened or what the person was doing. And then it was crazy too, they found his car a few blocks away, and there was blood and hair in the trunk, and they were oh, he's probably a serial killer. But they never figured out exactly the story.
Although this experience would probably lead to lifelong trauma from others, Miranda was more upset that he prevented her from meeting new friends.
But so a couple days before the incident with the guy that came to my house, I had never met the guy.
That's how I can tell. She just be living carefree. I feel she don't care about much, really. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she has some core values her family and stuff, and friends. But I feel if it's not anything to do with that, she really don't give a fuck.
Guy before, but he came to my house, and this was years ago too, and tried to kill me. He
yeah, that stalked me, and he you know, he offed himself, but yeah, I don't know. They said he might have been like a serial killer. I mean, that was wild.
2 days before that happened, I had the study group at my house. And the whole time I was inside trying to get these girls to think I was cool and like me and want me to be in the group, this guy was actually in my backyard with a gun, pacing back and forth in my backyard the entire time.
Oh my God.
While all the girls were there?
Yes, with me and all the girls studying. And me bringing food in and trying
How did
to
you
win
find
them
out?
over. Because later, when everything happened and the police came, they checked the security footage. And so 2 days before, he had already been there.
While you were first trying to like have friends, there was a man with a gun in your backyard.
And then the police had to call all of the girls because for a split second they didn't know who he was. So they were trying to figure out his identity. So they called all the girls thinking maybe it was one of their ex-boyfriends or somehow related to them. And
You're like,
all
please
of
don't call my friends. Please don't call my friends.
I was like, please just leave them out of this. They don't have to know. Aww. They don't have to be a part of this. I don't really know them anymore.
They were. Well, how do you think? They're like, we went to our house once and we almost died.
With the exception of the stalkers, Cosgrove regained a sense of normalcy in the real world, while McCurdy stayed trapped inside the Nickelodeon hellscape.
Hey, Dan Schneider. I know you're watching my Vine. Do you like my Vine? Fine. Look what you've done to me.
In August of 2012, Schneider took a fan favorite
Like,
from...
why did she make that? I don't think no one explained that. Like, maybe he might explain
ICarly,
it.
Sam Pucket, and a fan favorite from Victorious, Cat Valentine, and created a teen sitcom titled Sam and Cat. The pilot debuted on Nickelodeon to 4.2 million viewers and was surprisingly popular, but it only lasted one season and was canceled following controversy behind the scenes. You see, Jennette says that Schneider originally promised a show centered around her Sam Pucket character. So are you excited to have your own show? The creator asks. Sure, that's it? No, of course I'm excited. I'm so excited. Good. Because I could give a new show to anyone, you know? But I didn't choose anyone. I chose you. But Dan's promises were empty, as the solo show turned into a sort of buddy comedy alongside Ariana Grande. Jennette and Ariana just barely tolerated each other, mostly because of Schneider's manipulative tactics and the obvious favoritism towards Ariana.
My co-star Ariana Grande is a burgeoning pop star who misses work regularly to go sing at award shows, record new songs, and do press for her upcoming album, while I stay back and angrily hold down the fort. I understand on a surface level why she has to miss work. But at the same time, I don't understand why she's allowed to. I booked 2 features during iCarly that I had to turn down because the iCarly team wouldn't write me out of episodes to go shoot them. Then this week happened. The week where I was told Ariana would not be here at all, and that they would write around her absence this episode by having her character be locked in a box. Are you kidding me?
Nah, that's kind of crazy. That's like saying, like, we obviously with her, so we're gonna let her, like, skip out on work. But you better show up every time, or you're fired.
I have to turn down movies while Ariana's off whistle-toning at the Billboard Music Awards? Fuck this.
Damn.
Ariana misses work in pursuit of her music career, while I act with a box. If I wasn't such a good sport, I wouldn't be in this predicament in the first place. I wouldn't be on this shitty show saying these shitty lines on this shitty set with this shitty hairstyle. I'm pissed about it. And I'm pissed at her. Jealous of her.
It's easy to see how Jennette built up resentment towards her co-star. Every time something exciting...
She was not f***ing with that. Said, this bitch get the f***ing whistle tone while I gotta stay here. It's definitely more of like, she was angry at Dan. She was angry at the people who, you know, allowed it.
Exciting happens to her, I feel like she robbed me of having that experience myself. As if Jennette's internal struggle wasn't hard enough, her mother Deborah passed away losing her battle with breast cancer. Near the end of her life, Deborah wrote Jennette a shocking email containing things that no mother should ever say to her child.
Dear Nett, I am so disappointed in you. You used to be my perfect little angel, but now you are nothing more than a little, all caps, floozy, all used up. And to think, you wasted it on that hideous ogre of a man. I saw the pictures on a website called TMZ. I saw you rubbing his disgusting hairy stomach. I knew you were lying about Colton. I had told her I was with a friend, Colton. Add that to the list of things you are. Liar, conniving, evil. You look pudgier too. It's clear you're eating your guilt. Thinking of you with his ding-dong inside of you makes me sick. Sick. I raised you better than this. What happened to my good little girl? Where did she go? And who is this monster that has replaced her? You're an ugly monster now. I told your brothers about you, and they all said they disown you just like...
Bro, I don't know why Willow was just cracking me up. It's the... But like, I guess you had to do all that. She want people to know she's stressed about it.
Like I do. We want nothing to do with you. Love, Mom. Or should I say Deb, since I am no longer your mother. P.S. Send money for a new fridge. Ours broke.
Losing a parent is already hard, but what about losing an abusive parent that wholeheartedly admitted they want nothing to do with you? As you can imagine, this sent Jennette's life into a dark place. To compound the stress, McCurdy was the victim of an invasion of privacy when explicit selfies of her surfaced on the internet, which ultimately led to Nickelodeon canceling Sam and Cat, claiming both actresses desired to move on to other projects. Following her mother's passing, Jennette began to struggle with an eating disorder as well as an addiction to alcohol.
As the show was airing, her mother died of cancer. Jennette says her life was spinning out of control, anorexia morphing into bulimia and alcohol abuse.
I was never aiming for bulimia. I was attempting to have anorexia, but I couldn't keep it up without my mom. So then that would lead to, I'd starve myself for so long, and then I'd binge, and then I'd purge because I hated the feeling of fullness. Hated it.
But Jennette remained strong. She was not going to let her trauma destroy the rest of her life. She first sought professional help for her eating disorder.
I started with an eating disorder specialist, so it was very clinical, and we didn't get into trauma or childhood stuff. We didn't get into any of that, and I think I needed that at the time because I think I needed to get that addiction under control before being able to go anywhere near like excavating the stuff from the past. I think that would have fueled the addiction if I were working on that in tandem with the addiction.
Jennette knew that addressing and treating the critical aspect of her health was going to be hard enough. So once that treatment helped her regain her strength, then it was time to dive into the complexities of her childhood.
First therapist Laura started asking questions about my mom. Immediately I went into, well, she did this, but it's because she's such a good mom. It's because she wanted me to be successful. It's because she wanted me to have a better life. Like, I didn't even realize that I was at the time, but in retrospect I see, I was disclaiming every single thing that my mom did instead of—
Yeah, basically like you're not apologizing, but like you're coming up with a reason why instead of leaving that accountability for the mother to take. Like, you can't take accountability for her and excuse it, you know? But I know it's like a thing where as a kid, they just grow up. The mother or the parent will keep on excusing themselves, so they'll take whatever they say and like they'll repeat it in their own head. So it's like, I mean, she did this to me and I didn't like it and it affected me in a bad way, but she was doing it because she loves me, you know? So it's like she can't even like break out of that, like, you know?
Instead of just stating the reality or how I felt about it, I was more concerned with how to keep my mom looking good than I was with expressing my true emotional reality.
Jennette's
people pleasing. Sometimes, you know, that happens with parents.
journey to restoring her health and well-being was not something that a few therapy sessions would fix, and even after she has spent years working at it, it never truly goes away. Jennette decided to retire from acting in 2016. However, she did write and direct a few short films that are very much inspired by her childhood, but nobody truly knew the severity of her deep emotional hardships until she released her 2022 memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died. The shocking title doesn't necessarily mean Jennette is celebrating her mother's death, but it does reflect her complicated emotions, grief, relief, and the pain of losing someone who also caused her harm. Her mom's passing meant the end of her control and abuse, finally giving Jennette the chance to heal. The reality is, mourning an abusive parent isn't always simple. Sometimes sadness and relief exist at the same time, and millions of people around the world supported Jennette's vulnerability. Putting something this deep and complicated out to the world is not easy. Her memoir sold over 200,000 copies across all formats in its first week, and as of today, she has sold over 2 million copies.
80 weeks, #1, baby. I'm scared. I don't like blood noises.
Good for her. Good for her, though.
I'm scared. Okay. I hate. This is a bad idea. I hate loud noises. Oh my god. Yeah.
Around the same time, Paramount Plus also announced the plan to make a reboot of iCarly, but many were disappointed.
Nah, she screamed like she just got her ass killed or something. Like, what happened? Like, what? Like, she was watching a horror movie or something.
To learn that Jennette would not be reprising her role as Sam Pucket.
I just want to make things again.
You don't need a partner to do that.
Yeah, I don't need a partner. I need Sam. But she's off following her bliss with that biker gang.
The Obliterators. Hope she's okay.
It's Sam. I hope they're okay.
When Jennette said she was done with acting definitively and the baggage that came with it, she meant it, but her castmates respected her decision.
And we all really wanted Jennette to be a part of the show in real life, but she's just doing other things, and we're really happy for her. But yeah, we're definitely going to touch on that in the show.
Is the elevator door still open that if Jennette wanted to come back as Sam for an episode, could that happen?
Anytime.
I mean, that elevator door is always open. It never closed. But again, we want to be respectful of her and the decisions that we made. So obviously, no pressure, of course, but whatever she wants to do. We love her. That's all she needs to know.
Not only did Jennette not return to the show that made fans around the world love her, she said she wouldn't even watch it because of the demons it might bring back. And although it's heartbreaking that the thing that fans around the world fell in love with her for is the exact same thing that caused her so much pain and suffering, it is comforting to know that she does still cherish one part about her time as a child actor, and that is her friendship that she made with Miranda Cosgrove.
Oh my god, I love Miranda to pieces. I always will. She has such a special place in my heart. She helped me grow as a person and heal as a person, and I hope I did the same for her, and I just love her so much.
You know what? Hell yeah. And it's crazy because that cheer actually comes from iCarly, so it just felt necessary to do, Oh wow, that was really well put though. Boom, boom, boom.